He sells ebooks and makes roughly $2,000 monthly from his course sales. Do you know where he hosts his courses, ebooks, and digital products? Seller. He even built sales pages with Seller Page Builder. Now this is Alona. She's a freelance corporate and she has customers in the UK and USA. She even gets paid at least $1,000 for her services and gets the platform she processes her payment with. Seller. Now this is Kwame. He is an affiliate marketer and actively promotes Aluna's course using the swift and easy to use affiliate marketing feature on Seller. In fact, he just joined the affiliate network where he has access to thousands of courses he can promote. Why aren't you selling on Seller? Everyone is selling on Seller, but you. Sign up on Seller today.
When life gives you lemons, create an online course on how to make lemonade and sell it on Seller. This lemonade name was sweet self.
Welcome back, everyone. We hope you're having an amazing time. We are finally on our final session of the day. Yay! We'll be having a panel session titled The Role of the Creator Economy in the Development of Africa. This session will be hosted by Victor Ekoyalo. Speaking on this panel session are the following speakers: Akanno, Mylene Flicka, Ayobami Oyaleke, and our very own CEO, Douglas Kendyson. Let's get to know a little bit about them. Akanno is a renowned entrepreneur and designer with a decade of experience in creating visually appealing and user-friendly digital products. His latest project, Vizi, is a mobile no-code platform that utilizes AI to enable individuals to build and publish websites without technical experience. Evans prioritizes customer satisfaction, reflecting his extensive knowledge in product design and management. Recognized as one of Forbes Africa's 30 under 30 in technology, he has received accolades from the Future Awards of Africa. He holds a master's degree in innovation and entrepreneurship from the University of California and is certified by Harvard in innovation and strategy. Mylene Flicka is the founder of Irawo, a platform that helps African talents transform their passions into sustainable businesses. With over 7 years of marketing experience, she has developed innovative strategies, built active communities and entrepreneurship programs. Through Irawo, Mylene has connected over 100,000 talents from 100 countries, enabling them to monetize their skills. She has also formed partnerships with renowned brands like Facebook, Havas, and MTN to create engaging campaigns. Mylene's stories have reached an audience of over 100 million people across various media channels, and she has been recognized as one of West Africa's 50 most influential individuals in 2020. Ayobami Oyaleke is the head of Mainstack, an all-in-one platform for entrepreneurs, creators, and businesses to showcase their work, sell products and services. He has built tech products in the past 10 years and has spoken on numerous stages, including TEDx, Google I/O Extended, among others. Douglas Kendyson is a software engineer with a lot of experience in the fintech and payment space. He has worked for the top Y Combinator-backed payment startups in Africa, Flutterwave and Paystack, as well as a robo-advisory firm in the UAE and DAPI, building the payment infrastructure for the Middle East. Douglas is the founder and CEO of Seller, an e-commerce tool creatives and entrepreneurs use to sell their content, products, and services across borders without any hassle. Seller has over 60,000 registered users today. Join me as we welcome our wonderful speakers and sit back. We have a lot to learn.
Hello. Yeah, hi everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, cool. Hi Douglas. Hi Mylene.
Hi.
Everybody's here. Hi Ayo. So Evans is coming through. Thank you very much, guys. Hi Ayo. It's nice to see you. Yes. Hi Evans. Nice to see you. Welcome. Thank you everybody for joining today. And this is a very interesting conversation for obvious reasons. And personally, I'm a big proponent of Africa's creative economy, very specifically. And I think also just this conversation around how this contributes to the, how this creative economy contributes to Africa's economy in the larger scale of things. But before we proceed, right, I want to ask everybody just quickly, a few seconds, when you hear the creative economy in the African context, what comes to your mind? I'm going to start with Mylene. What do you think about when you hear Africa's creative economy?
Hello, everyone. I'm really happy to be here for this second edition of the Seller Summit. Hi. So when I think about the African creator economy, I think about the word particular. It's like, in my opinion, there is a lot of things in Africa that are different. When you think about the needs of our creators, you think about the market. So I think that even the tools, the people building tools for the African market, they need to be aware of that. And even the creator, they need to be aware of the particularities of this market in order to monetize their skills and make a living.
Okay, thank you. Evans?
Yeah, hi guys, my name is Evans. So when I think about the creator economy in Africa, I think about people who are, building or making a living from what they love to do. So in this space, I would even categorize from software developers to designers to, content creators who are making videos on TikTok and Instagram. Everyone is part of that creator economy, those who are building the tools to serve them, and those who are using those tools to actually monetize their passion.
Yeah, that makes sense. Ayo?
Hi guys. So I think I'll take it from where like Evan stopped. Even outside of Africa, right? When we say or hear the creator economy, what jumps at people first would be content, right? So we've forgotten that there's also a part for the knowledge economy. There's the creative economy. There's the curative economy, right? So being very open to like all those landscapes and also recognizing the stakeholders in there. For me, like one of the examples that I use first would be in as much as you are creating value, you're a creator. It doesn't have to be content, right? So that's what I'll say.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's just move on to the questions, and I'm going to start with you, Mylene. And this is with context, specific context to Irawa, right? How would you say specifically that Africa's creative economy, the creator economy, has contributed to the development of Africa so far in your experience? You're muted, Mylene.
Sorry.
Sure.
The first thing that comes to my mind is a more skilled workforce. From our side in Francophone Africa, I know you guys, you are from Anglophone Africa, and people like to think Africa as a whole, but the reality is that Francophone markets are really different from Anglophone markets. Like I'm from Benin Republic, Nigeria is our neighbor, but the reality is creators face in Benin are really drastically different from the ones Nigerian creators face. So I will say from my experience that people can admit that creators making money, they can hire people for jobs. But for me, it's like we are building a more skilled workforce. Like someone right now creating content, he's not just creating content. He's learned how to make visuals. He will become a designer. He will learn HTML, CSS, even though it's not like the big programming codes, but it is something. They will learn how to sell. They will learn how to talk to people. So it's like they are building a full skill stack that can make them more valuable on the job markets even.
Okay, thank you very much, Mylene. Moving on from that, Evans, over the last few years, I'm very much aware that you've built a couple of creator platforms. And in the last few years, there has been a proliferation of that in Africa, right? Would you say, in your experience, that that has improved the creator experience in Africa? And how would you say that has overall contributed to how people think about and approach the creator economy generally?
I think it's been great. One thing I love about building stuff is the fact that besides you serving those you serve, like your customers, you're also inspiring others to build, right? Take it back to like 10 years ago, how many creator-led platforms were built in Nigeria or built in Africa, right? We would leverage most of what has been built internationally, right? But it takes one person to say it can be built here, right? And then it inspires others to now take that same thought and move on with it. Like Mylene had said, right? People who build or who serve creators, they learn a lot of other skills, right? They get to have a lot of stack, over time, right? And that's actually how new platforms are built. A lot of people start as being users of these platforms to when they become producers of these platforms, right? And it's just because you have that extra bit of curiosity that you can make a better version of this. Everything we build is actually how can you make it simple for the end user. And I think that the more people build platforms, the more it inspires others to build platforms, the more it even inspires customers to have more options. And with those options, they can actually explore, and it also inspires those who have built to improve their platforms.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I am going to get back to you with the second part of this question I'm about to ask. But Mylene, Africa's creator economy is very nascent in itself, right? It's being a creator myself. I think it's less than 10 years that you can come out and say, "Oh, I am a creator," and anybody will, listen to you. I think there is still a lot of challenges in that. But there is that perception challenge. Then there is the infrastructure challenges that face creators. And you just mentioned the Francophone peculiarity here. But generally, what would you say are some of the biggest challenges in your experience that African creators face? Mylene, you're muted. Honest mistake is fine.
Oh my goodness, I always mute myself because I don't want to. Okay. So I can think about a lot of challenges, but the first one, it is something that I used to say and I keep saying because it's true. Fintech success is the backbone of creator economic success in Africa. Like when you take a creator from Africa, let's say from Ivory Coast or other Francophone country, first of all, this person cannot receive payments from like platform like PayPal's, Gumroad. He cannot receive payment or even send payments in some situations. And what we also see is that the people he's serving, the customers, they are reluctant to have credit cards or debit cards. Like, for example, in Benin or Ivory Coast, people are more used to mobile money. I know that it's recently that in Nigeria, more people are thinking about mobile money. But for us, it's mobile money first before credit card. But most of the tools that have been built for creator economy, you will see that they will require a credit card. So right now, I have some creators launching courses or people selling digital pictures that cannot make money from them because their customers cannot buy from them. So I think that we need a cross-border payment, because also the other issue with payment is that if I take mobile money, right now we have tools like Feda Pay, Keka Pay, who are helping like payment aggregators. They are helping creators to get money from mobile money.
Yeah.
But a creator that is in West Africa cannot get mobile money from a customer that is in Cameroon, Central Africa, because the regulatory rules prohibit that. So he needs, even if you are a brand, you will need to create another entity in Central Africa before perceiving payment. So if you have like the largest number of customers in Cameroon and you are in Ivory Coast, how are you getting paid? So
Yeah.
this payment challenge is the first one, and it is I will say the thing we need to tackle in the next few years.
Okay.
The second issue I'm seeing is that lots of people, this is something I see even in America. When we think about the creator economy, we just think about content creators. We think that the main purpose of creators is to create content and to get brand deals, to get sponsorships. But coming from my market, the Francophone market, the thing we see is that only the top 1% of creators will actually make it in terms of having millions of dollars of revenue, or even having enough to let their jobs and to continue on that path. So what we are seeing is what we call the power law. It's something we see in every sectors. It's not just for the creator economy, but how it is affecting our market is that there are less people who can actually say that they are making a living by just selling content or just by being influencers. So people need to diversify their portfolio. They need to create successful businesses that does not rely only on the numbers of followers or just on the brand deals. So from that, you will see the third issue, the main third issue, which is people don't know how to run businesses. They may know how to create content, but they don't know how to run businesses. If you want to make a living and you want to make a sustainable business, you don't just need to post beautiful pictures of you. You need to learn how to sell. You need to learn how to work with your customers. You need to learn how to stay consistent, how to manage people, because there will be a time where you won't be enough for your business. You will need to hire people. So how do you manage your business from 1% to 2% to more person? So I will say that that's the three issues. There are more. We can talk about internet connectivity, quality of internet, regulatory processes, but I think that those are the three ones.
Very, very, very cogent points, Mylene, to a very large extent. So I always say that fintech is the backbone of Africa's creative economy, right? And if we don't fix it, there's going to be a problem. So I totally agree with you starting with that. We're going to come back to this point because it's really important, the challenges and what we need to do about it. But moving forward, Ayo, I want to ask you to a very large extent that, like I mentioned earlier, in the last 10 years, and I'm saying this as somebody that has been in the creator economy for a while, in the last 10 years, nobody's going to take you serious if you say you're a creator, no matter what it is you say you're creating, right?
Yeah.
But recently, this has become a thing. And people are just coming out of university and saying, hey, regardless of Mylene's odds, I am not going to bar, I'm going to be a creator, and they are braving the odds. Now, we're noticing a shift in careers, we're noticing a shift in mindsets and everything. How would you say this shift, this mindset shift, this actual shift in the way things are being done, how would you say it plays into and affects the future of work in Africa specifically?
So I mean, I think I'll take it from like going back like maybe 3 years ago, during
Yeah.
COVID, right? When we the only thing we were stuck with was like our phones, right?
Yes.
And the only thing that we found, interesting to do would be probably being on social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
So content development became a more thing for people to actually like, get themselves not so bored. But that's not actually that was like that's not where it started from, right? I would say it begins from other platforms today out there, like maybe TikTok, YouTube. I mean, Meta just launched another platform 2 or 3 years ago, right? Being out there and giving people like literally making them celebrities from day one, right?
Yeah.
Access to the distribution platforms that typically when you go to uni to study something, the goal is for you to come out and become a doctor. Anyway, I'm not sure what your parents wanted you to be when you were going to school anyway.
Yeah.
You wanted to like, go in, come out, get a good job. But with the creator economy, everything is decentralized. I mean, let me use that word loosely for now. Decentralized in such a way that with your mobile phone, you can literally become anything,
Yeah.
right? And you are also now lucky you're in an age where, Web 2, Web 3, Web 2 is now evolving into Web 3, right? I remember like maybe 10 years ago, even before Facebook, the only thing we could probably do, maybe during Web 1.0, would be to read information on a website, correct? But
Yeah.
now Web 2 is now evolving into Web 3, making it even much more possible for people to be able to own their content, own their value, be able to really drive how they want maybe their audience to perceive it. So a very simple example would be maybe this guy that doesn't even talk, the guy that doesn't
Happy.
Kali,
Happy. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He used to work in the factory, came on TikTok during I think COVID,
The pandemic. Yeah.
just blew overnight. I'm not sure how much it charges right now to post a content, right? So the power in the platforms actually equip people to be able to do a lot more, grow exponentially. Then also the fact that the access to entry is very low, the barrier to entry is extremely low. You don't even need like you don't need how would I say it? You don't need like the professional gears to get started. Just access to the internet, access to a good phone, and be funny, and you're good to go, right?
Yeah.
I think those would be like the things that I feel like has made it a lot easier for people to start changing their mind, and also because the way it works basically is there was an era where we all wanted to be lawyers, an era where we all wanted to be doctors, another era where we all wanted to be software engineers. All of us want to be creators now, right? Even though
You don't think that era is still here? The software engineer era, you think it's gone?
I still want to be a software engineer, please. I don't think
I mean,
I'd like
see,
to keep my
yeah,
job.
yeah. I mean, we still have people that want to be doctors and lawyers, right?
Yeah.
But you also start getting, let me say, distracted when you are in uni. Maybe you're in like your first or second year, and you're seeing that your guy, your friend, that you're in the same class together, is charging $2,000 to post, just like an image on Instagram.
Yeah.
What's not the end goal? Like last, what is it? What's it about? So
Yeah.
you get really distracted, and the whole mission of the way we perceive professional, the way life used to be, is not like evolving. But I
Yeah.
feel like that's really interesting, and I also feel like um, I feel so thankful for these platforms because it makes people also like very independent and also be able to discover their skills while they are growing up as compared to like when you would typically graduate with good grades and you wait. I'm not saying you shouldn't graduate with good grades, don't get me wrong. You should please, if you can, go for it. But at the same time, these are like new opportunities that I mean people that are being exposed to, and it's literally like not just creating jobs, making them generalists. Mylene says something around even if you are a content creator, right? You're not just creating content. There are a lot of skills that you need to learn on the way. You need to, let's say you're shooting maybe video for YouTube or for Instagram. You need to learn how to edit a video. I hate it. You need to learn how to use the video. You need to learn the tools. You need to also learn how to maybe go on Canva and create like maybe a cover image that you're going to use. You need to learn, SEO. You need to learn, SEM. You need to learn how do you rank for keywords on these platforms that have their own nuances. If you
Yeah.
want to be on For You page on TikTok, you have to literally learn. I saw a banner like this morning of somebody teaching how to blow on threads. My guy, threads literally just got launched 2 days ago.
Like three.
Network already. How are you an expert
Oh my
already?
God.
Training
Yeah.
people like that. So these are like really interesting things that we are saying. And I also like really I'm also thankful is also the fact that people are able to express their creativities and be able to capture the value that will make them better like people. So yeah, that's what I was saying.
Thank you very much, Ayo. That is very concise. We keep going back to what Mylene said earlier, and how I sum it up in my head is you have to become a business, right? You, the creator, becomes a business, like a whole business. Learn how to do everything. But like I said, let's keep that on the hold. Now, Evans, this question is for you and Douglas later. We are building infrastructure for the creator economy. Everybody here, in one way or the other, has built, is building, and this is a very interesting thing. But on the other hand, I've always held an opinion for many years, actually, and I don't think it's an unpopular opinion. It's common sense, but I've met people fight me along the way. But it's the fact that we cannot out-innovate bad governance or bad policies, right? I've met people fight me over this. This is commonsensical. But we've talked about infrastructure, we've talked about fintech, we've talked about platforms. You know, there's Mainstack, there's Visi, there's Seller, there's Ibrawo, you know, amazing platforms. But there are things that are immediately outside our control as entrepreneurs, as builders, as creators that are creating for the value chain. Things like internet, you know, in a place like most parts of Africa, actually, we don't have enough infrastructure to have really steady internet. Things like internet, things like policies and all those kind of things. Now, my question is, what do we do? Because we have to do something. We don't have the solution in real time. We can't all go and start building internet towers and, you know, start making policies. But generally speaking, what do we do? How do we approach these problems that are immediately outside the problem of building products, iterating, and shipping products?
Well, the first thing I would say is there are still more things people building products can do.
Okay.
Right? We can blame government every day. To be honest, there's what government can do. In Sena climes, you know, 5G is like regular stuff, you know. Getting good phones, not so hard to get, right? However, if you remember, say like 10 years ago, you've mentioned 10 years ago a lot of times, so I bet you've been there for a long time. Do you remember Nokia Express Music, that phone?
Yes.
You remember that phone accessed Facebook back in the day?
Yes.
There was Facebook free mode.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you see that platforms here, for them to penetrate Africa better, they had to think about how can we make light versions of our apps so it can actually get to, well, I call it last mile, right? So when we build platforms, I'm very big on mobile, right? Data points are showing that mobile adoption is at an all-time high. It's even trumping desktop today. More people use a mobile phone for everything. You know, some people on this comment section would be watching this whole event on their phones on YouTube, right? And you see that mobile adoption is not a big deal. However, go back to those building platforms for Africa and ask how many of those platforms can be accessed directly on mobile phone? How many of them can be accessed on, say, 4G internet, right? It's great that the network providers are screaming 5G, but we all know that, you know, there's limited 5G access in Africa. You know, so with platforms, there's still more work we can do, you know, before we even get the government into this, because when the government wants to get into it, you can expect them to delay. You know, it is their own usual style. The same way we've innovated ourselves out of issues like payment gateways, because I remember 10 years ago, building websites and integrating payments, you would need to knock at InterSwitch door and, you know, pay 150,000 naira. But today there's options, right? Paystack, Flutterwave, and the likes. The same way we innovated out of some of those major challenges, very tiny nuanced challenges like internet speed, there are ways you can go around it. You can build lighter softwares, simpler softwares that can be accessed on phones. You know, that way, you know, you're driving accessibility for the most part. Think about, I always reference WhatsApp a lot, right? Someone said VoguePay. Exactly. VoguePay was one of the tools I used back in the day for payments, right? I think of WhatsApp a lot. Most of our mothers are sending us, you know, prayers every morning on WhatsApp, right? Now think about the fact that WhatsApp didn't hold any training on how to use WhatsApp. It means that tool was built with simplicity in mind for mobile devices that has caused its spread, right? And they are solving a huge challenge. If WhatsApp should introduce WhatsApp Pay for Africa today, it would be a huge shift because people are already on WhatsApp, right? So when we build platforms, those of us who are involved in the building of these platforms, we think about mobile penetration because that's one leveler across everyone. This is not the time where people are using Symbian OS or any other old phone. Everyone is pretty much on mostly Android and iOS. So we should start thinking about how we can penetrate better with those tools. Also, there's deeper integration that can happen. For us, when we think about Visi, I think about how when people create websites, automatically connect these websites with Google My Business. So the moment they create a website, they should be listed on Google My Business. And this is the kind of integration you want to do, because to the average person, if they're looking for a service, they will just search, I'm looking for this service near me. And so you want to be able to be sure that their phone numbers and, what we are doing with creator economy is pretty much accessibility. You're trying to drive access for everyone to be able to make revenue online, right? So we should think about how those tools can better serve customers, even before we go towards the government, because be rest assured the government is going to delay.
I agree. I totally agree, especially in the context of Africa. I mean, looking at historical antecedents, that's what they always do. They come in with their bureaucracy. A lot of times they have good intentions, but by the time they come, they make everything worse, But, Evans, before we move on, so there's something I always think about in this context, and it's like a lot of times, and I'm thinking about optimization now. I'm going to give you an instance. So big tech does something in developing economies, Africa being a good example, where they come in and they do initial investments, right? They do things like education, give internet, and make people learn how to use this platform, make people get used to this platform. And to a very large extent, this is a luxury, right? A one-man developer or a two-man team that's trying to ship a product, they most times do not have the luxury of optimization, right? Without going too far, how would you speak on this a bit? Because there's something I think of as the luxury of being able to optimize, and not just products, even the experience. There are a lot of things that people know they should be doing right, and people being like the purveyors of the ecosystem, the guardians of the creator ecosystem, or any ecosystem whatsoever, but they don't have the luxury to do this. Speak more about this generally. Like, how does somebody that doesn't have these resources think about these optimizations that you speak of now?
I think it is the design of the company, right? When you're a design-led company, you think about customer experience as part of the design, right? Mm-hmm. Now, when I talk to people about how we are building Visi, the very first version of Visi was built by 3 people. Okay. 1 designer, 1 front-end person, 1 back-end person. However, that designer is Evans, and Evans ensure that every single aspect of this is designed for mobile device and scales up to desktops, right? So in the design of these kind of platforms, because think about Instagram today, right? Instagram was a breath of fresh air from Facebook. Facebook was complex at some point because it had, you want to make me your friend, I'll send you a friend request. Do you like me? Okay, now accept me, try to become your friend. Instagram was like, just follow them and that's it, right? Facebook was very desktop and then had a different mobile experience. Instagram was mobile first, right? And you think about all of those things, it goes to the decision making before you even start building, right? The way you write code in Nigeria is still the same way you write code anywhere in the world. However, if you are, and I think that, Africa, we have the best software developers. We are really, really good at it, right? Because it's pretty much, how do you decide to write your code? Are you someone who's going to write and test, or you write 5,000 lines and then start to test? But if the structure of the design of the company is that we are very customer oriented, we are very optimization dependent, we don't think about optimization as an afterthought, we think about optimization even in the process, then you build better software. Then you'll be able to, your developers would have that testing mindsets. They won't see testing as a phase. They will see it as, the process with which we build stuff, and that's the way we think about it. Developers who have worked with me over the years have become better designers because they don't just look at pixels and say, this is what it should look like. They start to understand the nuances of design. And even designers who have worked with me, they get to understand that stop designing things that cannot be easily coded, because once you design what is hard to code, it's also going to be hard for the customer to use. I always reference tools like Twitter, Facebook. They don't have all your fancy fonts. They have fonts that are legible even on 8px. And that's why you can screenshot something from Instablog, chap, and it still maintains some kind of quality and you still laugh at it. It's because of the fonts. So all these things are very, very tiny details that people put into the production of a software that will enable it transcend a lot. the screenshots you've seen in the past 24 hours has been from threads, right? But you see how those screenshots are well designed, that people are taking what they've posted on threads and putting it on Instagram. You see, those kind of design details, I don't think is much of a task. It's more like you being opinionated while building the company or while building the software, and it just plays out to 10 million users eventually.
Thank you for that perspective, Evans. I think it was really important to state that. Douglas, the first time I interacted with Seller, somebody sent me a link. My friend published a book and they sent me a link to buy. And I think that I'd known about Seller prior to them, but like that was my first interaction with Seller. And I went through the whole process of paying and buying the thing. And I remember thinking like, this is an amazing thing, but like just my product brain, I was just asking a lot of questions, right? Like, oh, how does this work? What is this? What is that? And one of the things that was pertinent on my mind was IP, intellectual property, right? In a platform like, Seller and just generally, right? How do we sustainably, or how should we sustainably think? How do you and how should the creator economy sustainably think about intellectual property protection in Africa? And this doesn't have to be anything fancy or anything, but like, what is the most sustainable way? I mean, I would like to hear how you think about it as a company and what's like just the general way you feel it should be approached.
Sure. So just to follow up to what Evans has said, I think I really like his response because it really just touches on the idea that you want to listen to like a customer and listen to the customers and find out like what they are doing and how exactly their processes work. And that sort of really informs how you take that and fix your product. Because even if you're a small team that cannot, I think because we have been a very small team for the longest time, and even if we cannot do a massive education like Facebook can, what we can, however, do is host a ton of webinars and see how many people we can drive to it, and that really plays its role in educating the market and all of those many things. But again, to your question about IP, so I guess there are two ways to think about this. When it comes to like IP, or I guess just copyright in general, the bigger issue is I should be able to sue somebody and get money if like they infringe on my rights. And I think on a regulatory level, we're just not there. We're just not there. And it's like, so before you worry about a lot of things, it's like, okay, if you infringe on someone's rights, if someone infringes on your rights, what can I do? Where can I take that to? Can I get financial compensation? And in all of that, like not happening, that really sucks for the creator. But I mean, that doesn't mean we're not going to do what we need to do to help creators like secure their content. So I think on Seller, and this is just speaking on Seller, so I think we have two things in place for this. We have a read online only ebook. So that's a case where people cannot download the ebook. I think our next iteration should be a mobile app, maybe. I think in the mobile app, we are hoping to have more security for content purchased on Seller. So whether it's like ebooks and courses, and the idea is when someone buys a product from a merchant, from a creator on Seller, they can access whatever they've purchased on their phone. That way we control more of, we control the security of the product, as opposed to like things when it's like a downloadable option and all the rest. So I think on our part, we're doing our best. I think we're working on a bunch of things. We hopefully should have some new video security thing up that just really airtights like security for videos and course videos that people sell on Seller. And I think on our part we'll do that. But I guess on the regulatory level, I don't even know. I think there was a new copyright law recently and I was asking my lawyer about it, but I don't have the full details.
Thank you. I mean, I feel like this somehow still, delves into the last pointer with Evans, where we're like, well, we have to do what we can do because, copyright laws in Africa are just not there yet, just to be charitable. Okay, Mylene, on to you. What has been your experience with community with regards to the creator economy in Africa? What has been your experience with it? How would you say it has contributed to the development of the creator economy in Africa generally?
Okay, so first of all, our culture in Africa is really community-based. I think that we are well aware of how community works. Like in my country, for example, you cannot live in a building without greeting your neighbors. Like we can do that in France here, but like at home, it won't pass. So it's already cultural. So when we bring that online, I feel like as for every creators in the world, when you create a good relationship with your followers and you are able to convey that sense of brand, because you are a brand, you are a business, so you are a brand, you need that attachment so that they can buy your product, they can refer you. As we were talking about international property, I want to say, as Douglas is saying, we don't already have the market to be sure that people will get the money. But what we have is that you can build a competitive brand. You can build that relationship with your community so that people will buy from you instead of buying elsewhere. In Francophone Africa, we have this creator named Maureen Aite. She's one of the biggest fashion entrepreneur in Africa. She's not a stylist. She doesn't know how to create clothes, but she knows how to sell. She started from a Facebook group. So she created her Facebook group to share the style she liked, fashions, I would say fashions models, excuse my French. So
sure.
she was able to foster more than 100,000 people in that Facebook group. So the first time she decided to launch her brand, she did a sold out. So she did a sold out by doing private sales in Paris, in Montreal, in Benin, Ivory Coast, Abidjan, etc. So right now, I'm talking about her like she's still in that Facebook group. But Maureen Aite, her brand Nana Was, has more than 7 shops in Africa. She's right now a millionaire in euros. Her brand is followed by a lot of people. She has been able to dress a lot of famous people just starting from a Facebook group. She's one of the biggest success stories right now in Africa, and this is the greatest illustration of how a community can uplift you and get you to success.
Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. I think one of the most important things you said that I picked up from this is that like Africa is generally a community-driven society, right? Would you say that this is an edge that would automatically place Africa's creative community, ahead in the world?
Okay, so having the biggest community or the most engaged community is not the same as having a community that can buy and that can sustain your life.
Yes.
The reality is that when people talk about 1,000 true fans, I will say that in Africa, you may need maybe 10,000 true fans because people that are buying, they don't have the disposable income to buy high ticket product every time. See, if you want to reach a sustainable numbers of people, maybe you will need to I would say expand your impact, expand your community. So we need to be aware of the market. That, as I was saying when I started this live, is that Africa market is not the same as American market. We don't need to import their way of thinking into the creator economy in Africa. We need to think about our own culture. We need to think about how people are. We are right now in a recession. Like, I heard that tomatoes is getting more expensive in Nigeria. So will people let tomatoes to buy everything they see online? Okay, so this is a way of thinking, but I think that creator needs to be aware of that. They need to create high ticket sorry, excuse my French. They need to create products that high-end people can buy, but they need to be aware that those people are not they're not enough. They are not as a larger market as in America or in Europe. And if they want to say build for the mass market, the price needs to be a little bit lower, and they need to market accordingly.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's very explanatory. Ayo, to a very large extent, the creative space has the ability to amplify nascent voices. Has the ability to put out underrepresented groups, underrepresented groups, underrepresented voices, opinions out there. How would you say that the creator economy in Africa has helped to change some narratives? Mostly harmful, or narratives generally. How would you say this has happened?
So I think I'm going to like answer this by relating it to what Mylene said as well, that about like the markets, right? So their education in Africa is different from that of Western market, right? And also in Africa as well, and don't forget, Nigeria is not Africa. Africa is not Nigeria or maybe Ghana, right? Even as of date, outside of the creator economy, you want to start talking about different countries in Africa and how they are giving, their level of ambiguity to underrepresented creators out there. So which brings me to my next point, which is that different countries in Africa have different level of openness, to how narratives, perceptions is driven, right? Which is a little bit difficult. Um, Also because of this time and age that we are and how we perceive things generally in Africa, right? Um, Also being different from the US or maybe the Western market. I would say so far so good. The progress is, has been enormous compared to like what we used to see like 5 years, 10 years ago. And I also believe that the fact that these platforms are also open and also give you access to be able to like, give your voices and also be able to communicate your thoughts and perceptions is also very beneficial to the fact that you are not uh, you're not boxed. Although what I always like advise my friends in this box or in this circle would be do things that are safe, right? It's better to be safe in a market where their perception towards, you know, underrepresented folks, it's tricky, right? The way you're even perceived in the mall or the way you're perceived maybe online is different. So for me, I'd rather do things that make me feel safe right now or express myself in a community or circle of friends that I feel safe until the market is ripe enough, right? In the Western world, you literally do anything. You can express yourself the way you want to express yourself. I was just having a telling me yesterday, like a couple of days ago, and there was this guy, there's this person that walked by past me, and I couldn't tell the costume that he or she was wearing. I couldn't even identify that like I should say he, she, they, them, and I also didn't want to be rude, right? Uh, there was a time I was on a call and I was addressing someone with a different pronoun, right? I felt so bad because when we were getting into the call, they probably because I got in late, so maybe they had done introductions, try to like have people express the way they feel and how they should be addressed. I didn't know. I just got in, I just like went with the flow, and at the end of the day, I found out that the person actually like identified as they slash them. That made me feel so bad, and I had to go and apologize eventually, right? So at the end of the day, when you take a look at all these markets, countries individually, I think I also saw a video sometimes about a president of a country saying that you can't be this, categorically saying it, right? Um, for now, that the markets or the countries are still being a little bit tight on giving access to underrepresented creators, I would say do things that make you feel safe right now um, until it is ripe enough, right? For maybe the countries feel more open about it as to compare the Western market. For now, stay safe.
Okay, thank you, Ayo. I have a ton of follow-up questions for this for everybody, but we still have some questions when we're done, and if we have more time, we'll circle back. Douglas, how did the pandemic 2020, how did it affect creators? And so speak generally and speak from the income perspective. How did it impact creators generally? That was rough times.
So I'm the one that's going to like be like, oh my god, the pandemic helped. That's not good for me. That's really not good. I'm trying to be the nice person here. So I mean, I think interestingly, I was actually just thinking about the pandemic's impact recently, and I think one of the things I'm most so it's tricky. You can't really say, "Oh, I am grateful that the pandemic happened," because people died. But this is not funny. But I think one of the things I'm most grateful for is I think people just got more comfortable with the idea of paying online and just doing things like I would say, and I would say like trust grew, but I guess you can also just say trust grew
Yeah.
because more people were willing to like pay for things online, more people were willing to buy courses from people. I think even for us as a business, like a lot of our uptake happened in 2020. I mean, granted, a lot of work was put in 2020 for growth, but I think a lot of that is also just market growth. And there was something with the pandemic and everybody being isolated and having to only interact online that caused people to rely on being online. I think typically the alternative to all of the things that we do today would be a lot of them like physical classes. And I mean, just post the pandemic now, everyone that is hosting a class, doing a training is more like, does it really need to be in person? Let's make it online. And I think that's the impact of the pandemic, which is good for everybody because now more people can reach, you can reach a wider audience in a way that you just never could. So yeah, I would say that had its positive impact on the creator economy.
Yeah, thank you very much. That makes sense. I mean, that's what I thought. Like there was a lot of shift from physical interactions to virtual, people becoming more comfortable with transacting virtually, and this is like one of the biggest boosts for digital creators. So we're almost coming to the end of the session. So if you're watching this from anywhere and you have any questions, please drop it in the chat box, drop it in the comment section of wherever you're viewing this from, and we will be sure to ask. Like I said, we're almost done, so please ask your questions. Thank you very much. Finally, I'm just going to go through everyone, and please be as brief as you can be. But what are your hopes and your aspirations for the creator economy in Africa? I'm going to start with Evans. You're muted, Evans. Sorry.
That's okay. I'll just take one point, and that one point is economic empowerment, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about this from the angle that the more we are building tools for the creators, and the more people are looking at how best to express themselves and create more options to monetize their skills, that these little drops of water would actually become one huge thing called economic empowerment, right? Today, what we are doing may just seem like we are building platforms or people are making videos online. But there's a real shift that is happening here. It means that people can be able to make money with just their phone as the I call it capital. Like, because right now, the phones that are being sold to us from Apple, from Samsung, has become tools to actually grow wealth, right? So that economic empowerment is one thing that everyone is involved in doing, from those who are making videos on different skills that you can learn online, to those who are building platforms, to those fintech companies who are enabling payments. All of these things fused together in the next 2-3 years would be a massive boost for Africa. And I think it's great. And I think that when the challenges come, anyone in these different parts of the ecosystem should think about the impact of their work, right? That's one video you've made online has inspired someone that you might never meet. Yeah. That fintech tool you built has enabled payments that have saved someone somewhere. And even that creator tool you built, is enabling someone to drive an online business without having to pay for a shop at a place. And, it just creates much more value all around. That's it.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you very much. Mylene?
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, so my hopes, I have 3 hopes. More funding for tools building in the creator economy space so we can have better tools that are adapted to our realities. Second, a cross-border payment. I'm really hoping for this one because I know how much it will bring success to the industry. And third one is let us educate more creators on how to run successful business, help them to get better at their craft, but also at building good businesses. That's how they will be able to create value, more value for our development in Africa.
Thank you, Mylene. Douglas.
For me, I think I just want better fraud management like systems. So it's like because there's really no point to like building like so much stuff if like fraud guys just come and wipe you out. And I'm not speaking from personal experience, but like, I mean, I've worked in the payment industry for a while, and this is something that we've seen just across board. And it's like, why do we have a BVN system? And then if someone does fraud, you cannot block their account and block all the chain, whatever is happening. I think I would love, and this, I mean, speaking in Nigeria, but also I will speak for Nigeria specifically because I know that we need it most. I would love to see better fraud management systems. I think everyone building like fintech today is doing amazing work, but fraud still just poses, of course, everybody's innovating around it and doing their thing, but it's like, it'll be great to have better systems for all these things. I mean, fraud, anyway, that's it.
Okay, thank you very much, Douglas. Ayo?
Douglas, I can feel the pain.
It felt really personal.
I can feel the pain. So I think we all have talked about like the platforms, those that are building. I think my message would go out to the creators. Please make it business. It's beyond likes, it's beyond comments, it's beyond number of followers. I'm very bullish about the industry itself because, like, taking a look at the Western market, for example, in 2027, the creator economy is going to be valued at $500 billion globally. Currently, it's currently around, I think, $200 billion. What's the portion of that Africa is contributing to? So what that means is, if Africa is contributing to like maybe like 10% or 20%, how much are you, the creator, making, right? So it's beyond you just posting nice pictures. It's beyond you just posting nice videos. Right from the day that you decide to be a creator, or maybe you're a creator currently, you're creating content and value and the likes, start taking a look at like the business side of things. People are making tons of money, like in the Western market. Create a business side of the craft, such that at the end of the day, you don't, get chased out of your house because you can't pay your rent, right? It's good to have 100,000 followers, but how much do you have in your bank account? It's just 1,000 naira, right? So that's my message to people watching today.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we have some questions here, and we're almost out of time. So we're going to play a game of conciseness. So Evans, I'm going to start with you on this. How do you convert sales and build an engaged online audience? This is from
That's a really long question.
I know.
That's not a question we can answer in like
we are playing a game of concise. Sorry, we have to do this.
Please try.
Let me try.
Okay.
Let me try. How do you convert sales
and build an engaged online audience?
To build an engaged online presence, try to speak in the tone that your audience would understand. Okay. Try to convey the benefits of what you're selling to them in very simple words that they can understand. Now, to convert that to sales, try to have at least a landing page. And with that landing page, you have products in there, or you have a newsletter form that takes their detail, and then you can sell to them later on. Oh, this is very... Can they just send me a message?
I swear you did it. That's amazing. I love it. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's try again. Let's try again. Second question. Let me see. I'm trying to get the second question. We have so many questions here. Can somebody display this for me, please? Okay, I'll just find it. No problems at all. Okay. Ayo, what's your tip for collaborating, networking, and sustaining relationships for not just creation but business?
Oh, how about standard question? That's a lot. So I think one is to be able to identify and define your own niche, right?
Yeah.
Also identify find people that you want to collaborate with. I
Yeah.
also feel like the community is also very important as well because when you have your own community, you're also able to identify, like-minded people that are in the same space with you that you can collaborate with. And I also, what's the second one? I think identify what again?
Um, Tips for collaborating, networking, and sustaining relationships.
Sustaining relationship would be being a very good person yourself, right? Being
Yeah.
very honest and true to your craft,
Don't be a
right?
shit person. Yeah.
You can only attract people that feel the same way like you, or act or behave the same way as you. So um, as you are connecting with people, also like embrace the act of like giving first, right? Don't go and reach out to Tyler Island today and say, "Hey, bro, I want to collaborate with you on the next video." Just want to ignore your text. I'm saying it on his behalf, right? Try to look for a way that you can be of like help and value to them first. At least demonstrate that you are useful as a person. Let them see what you're bringing to the table. And when you have also been able to like when you guys are connected, ensure that the relationship is maintained and everything around that relationship is well defined so that we don't start feeling some type of way. Maybe someone is bringing more to the table than you are. So yeah, that's going to be my tip.
Thank you very much. So this is about asking really hard questions, but thank you, Ayo. Well done. The next one is for Douglas. So Douglas, as an engineer, I mean, I trust you're going to handle this. So somebody wants to know, how can one get a team to develop a scalable idea in Africa? Try, Douglas. Try. Just go for it.
I mean, I think for the most part, I would say maybe don't do an agency.
Okay.
I think don't do an agency because that's just. I mean, obviously, I would say don't go learn to be a software engineer to build the product because that just it rarely works out that well. Even though I think for me, it really works out that well. But I think so, and I think this is where like collaboration will come in, where you hopefully need to find people that are good and also convince them to join you in in this endeavor. Because 9 out of 10 times for a lot of people that either go the agency route, that typically it's like, especially if you're trying to build a product that would stand the test of time, you need people that are committed, thinking about it and working on it every day. So, and if it's not yourself, hopefully you can find it with like partners and co-founders or whatever the case is, or maybe employees. But yeah, I don't know if that helps.
It does. Thank you very much. Mylene, the last question is for you, and I think it's kind of very is very fitting. Michael says, right now in Nigeria, PayPal account doesn't allow receiving money to the account. In this case, what would a businessman do? Thank you.
I don't know. This is like you are asking the biggest question. Like, what do you do? I don't know.
Oh my God. Evans, do you want to help? Evans or Ayo? Please, do you want to help?
Okay, so you want to earn money. The first thing I'll tell you is if you want to earn USD from Nigeria, if you're really serious about it, use like an online tool like First Base, create a US component of the business. With the US business, you can get on Stripe. With Stripe, you can earn money that goes into a US account. It's a long process like that. That's actually the answer, right? The short answer is sell with Flutterwave, Paystack, and the likes.
Yeah, that's a better idea. So either you create a US account with Squarespace, or you create or you sell with
a Nigerian thing,
Nigerian payment provider. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
This
use
is the
seller.
last.
Sorry, use seller. Use seller.
Douglas is ready to throw hands.
Yeah, use seller. Really, use seller. I'm sorry.
Douglas is ready to throw hands.
Can you imagine? Use seller. Simple. That's like.
Please.
Exactly.
Michael, use seller, please. Okay, this is the last question. We are already 2 minutes over time. So Ayo, you talked about making your content nice. How can you create a nice content and not make it boring?
So I'm going to make it like very quick. Go and watch Selem Kingian on Instagram.
What did you call it? Because I didn't get it.
Selem, the person that is
Selem Kingian.
Yes, go and watch his content. Go and watch who else. So I also feel that you need to find your own
niche.
Yeah, find your niche and find your style.
Yes.
Right. Selling, like I think it's like content is what I really enjoy most. Watching something serious, nice, without making it boring.
Yeah.
Right? Like the way he does it, I really like it personally. Yeah, that's my personal opinion. So I think check his content out. Probably you'll be able to tap on those inspirations. Don't copy. Because
Yeah.
when you copy, you're not genuine, so people will know. Yeah.
That makes total sense. Thank you guys very much. Really appreciate your time. This has been a very insightful conversation. I mean, I kind of knew with this our lineup that it's going to be insightful, but it exceeded my expectations. Thank you very much for coming through. We're already 3 minutes over time, and I'm going to hand over to the moderator or moderators now. Thank you very much. It's been nice having you all. Douglas, Mylene, and
It's pretty great.
chat
Have
later.
one. Yeah.
Thank you very much,
Pleasure,
guys.
guys. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Amazing, guys. This has been an amazing experience. Thank you so much, Douglas, Victor, Mylene, Ayo, Evans, and also Ayo. I've called Ayo before, right? Thanks so much, everyone, for actually like showing up. And I really enjoyed that session. Someone asked how you can receive payment from like outside the country if you don't have PayPal. Come on, you sell, right? You sell with seller. You can also receive money from anywhere in the world because we integrate PayPal and Stripe to your seller account and like different payment systems that can just help you sell your digital products across the world. So sign up on Seller for free. And when you do, we are going to verify your accounts and also, if your account is like if you're a solid business owner, you can have like the PayPal and Stripe integration. But guys, thank you so much for actually being here till the end. Like we started yesterday, back-to-back sessions from Steve Harris down to Naomi Semedwa, down to all the panel sessions, Info Apple. Guys, amazing. Please, guys, thank you so much. If you enjoyed this summit, please just thank Seller on the chat box, okay? Because we've put in so much into this. So thank you, everyone. This is the end of the summit, okay? This is the end of the summit, literally, like till next year again. We are going to do this next year, and next year is going to be way much bigger. Next year will be way much bigger. So thank you so much, everyone, for like staying till the end. I know like you guys have so many things to do, but you actually stay there to the end. So please, what you have to do going onward for it to like get involved in everything that we do, go to seller.co, sign up for free. You can sign up on Seller for free and get started with a free seller account. And also you can pick any of our pro plans, right? Any of Seller paid plans, right? And start selling your online courses, building sales pages and all. Also, go to our Instagram. Follow us on Instagram at TrySeller. Follow us on Twitter at TrySeller. Follow us on Threads at TrySeller as well. YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, okay? And also sign up on Seller so that you can just get involved in everything that we're doing, because we host webinars back to back. We host different webinars that will show you how to take your digital products sales to the moon. So guys, this is the end. My name remains Mylene Tutu, the chief marketing officer at Seller. And thank you so much to my team for actually putting this together and making this work. Shout out to Treasure, shout out to Emmanuel, shout out to Sophia, shout out to Lydia. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to Tito for all the amazing videos. Okay. Shout out to Douglas Kendyson, him being the CEO and founder of Seller, and just literally giving us the tools and resources to like actually make all of these things work. Right. Shout out to the support team. Shout out to our product manager Shay. Shout out to the product team. Shout out to the engineering team, and shout out to you guys. Okay. Shout out to our creators. You guys are amazing. And also shout out to the volunteers, the Avengers. You guys really came and you delivered. Thank you so much. We are going to do this again next year, and next year it's going to be bigger, better, and huge. And before we end the session, please just watch a thank you remark from our CEO, Douglas Kendyson. Thank you, everyone. Bye. See you next year.
Thank you so much for staying through. I really hope you had an amazing, insightful 2 days. Thanks to all our speakers for sharing such amazing insights in all the sessions and panels. We really hope you loved every one of them. Thanks to our sponsors, Flutterwave, Money Africa, and St. Paul's. We really appreciate their contributions to making the summit this successful. And finally, I want to say a big thanks to my team. Putting a summit this good is very hard, and a lot of work has gone into this over the past couple of months, and it's great that this turned out really amazing. Thank you, and do have a lovely weekend.
is Uzoma. He is a course creator. He sells ebooks and makes roughly $2,000 monthly from his course sales. Do you know where he hosts his courses, ebooks, and digital products? Seller. He even builds sales pages with Seller Page Builder. Now this is Alona. She's a freelance corporate and she has customers in the UK and USA. She even gets paid at least $1,000 for her services and gets the platform she processes her payment with. Seller. Now this is Kwame. He is an affiliate marketer.